All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Out of Mana podcast. This is episode 21. I'm joined with the real Shiesty once again. But today we have an awesome guest, Joel from Pixel Street. I'm pretty sure a couple weeks ago, if you guys were watching, we also had John Henson. He's also from Pixel Street. So now we're able to complete the set and get both of them together. But thank you, Joel, for coming out. Is there anything you want to add?
No, you've now caught them all, right? You got to catch them all. You got me and John on the show, so
I'm going for the whole
yeah,
set
we're
here.
doing. Yeah, you got the whole set. Now you got to get the shiny John next.
Yeah,
Shiny Chad?
The shiny version of John.
holographic, reverse hollow version.
Is that John in like a
Yeah.
Sonic suit?
No, that's just him. Like within 30 minutes after he took a shower. Like
It's just
it
so
has to be
radiant.
within 30 minutes. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
So obviously I think when I reached out originally I wanted to see if I can get both of you on, but obviously time schedules conflicted. But I'm so happy to have you on because unfortunately when we had John on, he couldn't fill everything that I wanted to ask about Pixel Street because you guys have a great channel. So what I asked him, and I think I'm gonna pass the question on to you too, is what inspired you to get into podcasting and when started Pixel Street?
So for me, I don't know. I just like talking about video games, right? And like my wife now, she's not really a gamer at all, so she doesn't want to hear me talk about fucking Halo Reach or Sorry, can I swear? I don't
Yeah,
know.
go ahead.
Fuck yeah, you can.
She doesn't want to hear me talk about Halo and Gears of War and the new Xbox. She doesn't care about me talking about like tech at all either. Like, oh, I really want to get this new monitor, or I really want a 3D printer, right? So I don't know. And I had a friend at the time, Josh, he was heavily into games at the time. So I was like, hey, let's start a podcast. And he's like, yeah, sure. So we just started doing Pixel Street podcasts, like on and off for a year or two, I want to say. And then like he kind of fell out of gaming. Like he doesn't really game anymore today. But yeah, he fell off, so we stopped doing it. And then I was writing for that videogameblog.com just kind of as like for fun on the side. And that's how I met John, who he was also writing for that video game blog at the time. And I kind of just sent an email to like everybody on there, just like, hey, like, I like talking about games. I started this podcast a while ago, kind of haven't done it. Would anybody be interested in podcasting? And he was the first one to respond. Probably the only one to respond, honestly. And so we just started doing it again, and we've been doing it for fuck, I don't even know, like 6 years now together. Me and him, 5 years together.
I also want to say
But yeah, like,
congratulations. You are the first guest to fucking swear on a podcast. So congratulations.
He's not the
oh,
first.
thanks.
We've had
I think he is the first.
I thought
I
Alfredo
know
did
I'm
it.
always swearing, but I think he's the first.
All right, we'll give Joel the official.
We'll give him official.
We'll give him the title.
I'm honored. But yeah, yeah, we've been doing it for like 5 or 6 years now, and we try and post every week, but I mean, life happens, right? So we skip weeks here and there, but it just, I don't know. It's a fun outlet for me to talk about nerd shit that like even like most of my like in real, I guess, IRL friends, I would say, like friends I see on a week to week basis, they don't really care. Like some of them game, but like to the extent where like they play Rocket League, Call of Duty, and Fortnite, right? Like
The basics.
they don't care about like what the latest RPG I'm playing. They don't care about like me playing Pokemon games and stuff. So I don't know. It's just a good outlet for me to talk about nerd shit, really. Right?
Oh
So
man, we could have had a massive conversation a couple weeks ago when John was on. When we were talking about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Dude, we were heavily into that for a while. I don't know if
yeah,
Steve
I
still
played.
is.
I haven't beaten it yet, but
You haven't
I've
beaten it?
played quite a bit of it. No, I've not.
Oh, how far are you along?
I think I have 7 gym badges. I think 4 or 5 of the I don't even know what they're called. The beast things.
Oh,
Where you
the
go and fight the
Titans.
big Pokemon. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and I think
Uh-huh.
three of the Team
Of
Star
the team side.
bases.
Okay. You're getting there. You're almost there, but
I don't know. I
yeah.
find I like playing my Switch less and less. Just because like for me, I really like high def games. Like I have a 4K monitor. I have like all this high tech stuff. Like I have an OLED TV in my living room. It's like, do I really want to sit there and play this thing like in my hand, right? Um, but yeah, I don't know. That game's pretty good. I enjoy it.
So
But yeah,
would
I'm a big Pokemon nerd.
would you call yourself a fidelity freak?
That's a really fucking weird thing to say, but yeah, sure.
Because I know that, I mean, like, I'm somewhat like that. Obviously, if the gameplay is good, I can get past that. But I know that there's some games where it's just like, oh man, the stuttering, the frames, everything. It's just like I can't do it.
Oh, you mean like this new Pokemon game? That's literally like the first week when it was just like all the bugs on TikTok and everything. It was hard to watch.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I played it the very first day, and I think I fell through the map like 20 times. And because I'm used to like 60 FPS and beyond, going to like 25 frames, my eyes had to get like adjust to, and it gave me a headache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like the podcast, that's kind of how it all started, right? Like I just hit I just on a whim just hit up people from this gaming website I wrote for, and John said he was down, so why not? And now John, he just got hired full time at GamePer, which is awesome.
Oh,
Now
that's cool.
yeah, as of I think he starts full time technically February 1st, so
Oh, that's a
yeah, he
news
announced that.
revelation because I think when he was a
Yeah.
guest,
Yeah, he
he
was just like
wasn't.
a senior head or something like that, but like not full time. Like,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, so
awesome.
up until now technically he was just like I like a contract writer, I guess you could say, like
Hmm.
so. But yeah, now he's like officially full time. He's super excited,
Oh,
and I'm
that's
really
awesome.
proud of him because like for him, like that's what he wanted to do as a career, and like something like that is like way out of reach, right? Like for most people, like if you think like, oh, I want to write about video games, yeah, you and fucking everybody else, right? And for him to get a full time job doing it, that's just so cool.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
especially, well, it's funny because like before I actually watched your channel, I didn't even know what GamePro was, and then obviously watching a channel, getting to know it better, I started looking up GamePro, and I didn't realize how massive they were because they're an Indian company, right? And
I think that's like how it started. Yeah, was as an India like online gaming website.
yeah, and I was surprised to see how many writers there actually are. So the fact that he is now a full time worker there with, I think they have over a couple hundred writers competing. That's awesome. But have you ever tried? Like, I know you said you wrote for the video game blog. Did you want to become a game journalist as well, or was it just like a passion project just to talk about games?
It it was kind of always just for fun for me. Like even the podcast, I do it for fun, right? Like I graduated with a degree in architecture. Like right now, I work as an engineer. Like I don't know. I just like talking about games. I like nerd stuff. It's kind of just like I said, an outlet for me to talk about that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, for John to make it like a career, that's so cool to me.
Yeah, it really is. Especially like I know I told him that before when he was writing the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet guides. I actually used some of them to complete my Pokédex because I was looking for like the spawn locations, and then obviously I know he's big into Overwatch, which I think you are too, right?
Like I say I'm big into it when it's like new and like, the hot game at the time, but then like I just fall off real quick. Like I like playing the game, it's hard for me to get into, especially when every week we do the podcast and John's like, "Oh, here's this bullshit that the matchmaking's doing in Overwatch this week." It's like constant every week when he's saying this like, "Well, John, you're making me really not want to play the game."
But isn't that like the job of a journalist to always like break down the flaws of a game so that they can like enhance themselves later, or hopefully enhance themselves later?
Yeah, I guess, but like when it's every week and then every week, every day when I log on to Xbox, I see he's playing the game. It's like you're
It's
really
like
contradicting yourself. You're not helping.
Like, it's my job. I gotta write about this.
Yeah.
So do you find yourself going on to any of those like like the video game blog or GamePer since you started doing the podcast, or have you gone less and less of that and just only done your, I guess, talking through the podcast?
Um. Yeah, I basically just talk, right? Yeah, I stopped writing a long time ago at this point. But yeah, like GamePer is a site that like many people don't really know about. But if you Google anything video game related, like say you want to find out like how do I catch so and so Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, if you Google that, GamePer will usually be like in the top 5 to 6 options. But what most people do is they search that and they don't click on GamePro. They click on like IGN or Kotaku or something like that, right? But yeah, GamePro is pretty high up there.
It's funny when we were talking with him. I was asking him about like how does he feel about the integrity of certain like game publishers or game journalists. And I was like, I don't know why people read Kotaku because a lot of their time is very opinionated and no facts to back it up. And I'm like, well, at least with GamePro, the people write it behind it. I'm like, they actually play it, they write it, and they don't really give much of opinion. They just give guides and facts. And I thought that was kind of interesting compared to like IGN or Kotaku or what's it, GameSpot, where they're just all clickbait headers.
Yeah. And some of those guides John has posted on our YouTube channel as well, because like for instance, I think our most watched video, I'm trying to look right now. Our most watched video is from just basically how to play an online game with friends in MLB The Show 21.
Hmm.
It has 155,000 views because like
Holy crap.
you would think that's a super easy thing to figure out, but the way that game's menus are set up, it literally the reason John posted the video is because we were trying to play together and it took us like 30 minutes to figure out how to get into a game with each other. And so John's like, you know what? I'm gonna take a quick video and upload it. And it has 155,000 views, and then he uh, posted a very similar video the next year on how to play home run derbies with friends, or the same year, and it got 16,000 views. So it's just like stupid guides like that. That's something that like that's a site like GamePro is really good at, like looking at for because like you said, they're just gamers who are just posting about stuff that they've played, right? Like that's an instance of where John saw an issue and thought to post a guide about it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Your top three videos is MLB The Show, MLB The Show 21, and then third one, how to play MLB The Show. Wait, hold on. You have three?
Yeah.
You have two of the same videos? Or are they different?
They're two different years of the
Oh,
game.
you're right. I see MLB The Show 22 and 21.
I mean that's John being a writer, right? Like he knows that people need like you need the SEO. So if he didn't make another video of MLB The Show 22, who's to say those people would find our first video of MLB The Show 21?
Mm-hmm.
I'm also looking at too. I mean, you've also done quite a bit of. I mean, I guess what you'd call evergreen content, where people can always like, no matter how long the time goes, it's still rewatchable. Like I've seen you do stuff with unboxings. I think recently, well, actually, it wasn't recently. I think it was a couple months ago. You did something with the PS5 controller. You're modding the back of it to basically make it a scuff.
Yeah, so I found like it was just like 4 back buttons on Amazon that you can attach to the back of your controller. It's not it's I just made it sound super easy. I think the video is like an hour long or something of me doing
Yeah.
it. But yeah, you'd like take the back off a PS5 controller and then you solder on some parts and then you put it back on and it pretty much makes your controller scuff with the or like an elite controller more or less with the back paddles.
I've
So was
always
that?
go ahead.
Oh, was that like an idea that you came up by yourself because you also have that background of being an engineer, or is that something you just emulate because you saw somebody else do it?
So I so on my Xbox, I use my Elite controller for everything. More like any type of shooter I play, I'm using the Elite controller, and
Mm-hmm.
I got so used to having the 4 back paddles for first-person shooters, where I was like, I really wanted one for the PlayStation, and this is before the PlayStation, the DualSense Edge, I think it's called, was announced at all, and so and I googled like options for back pedals on PS5, and it was either like buy like a $250 scuff controller or buy this, I think it was like 25 or 30 bucks mod and attach it to the back. And like what I found over the years is like I I feel like I can do anything electronically that I don't know. I feel very confident in like soldering and stuff like that in terms of tech. So I was like, "Oh yeah, I could do that, no problem." And like, yeah, sure, it took me an hour and I watched like a video while I did it of somebody installing it and but yeah, I got it done and it's I rarely use it just because I rarely play first person shooters on my PS5. But I mean, I'm glad I have it for those times the rare times I do play first person shooters over there.
Yeah, because I actually found that video quite entertaining because when I was in high school, I actually took a class on how to actually build computers, like, put components on motherboards and all that stuff. And the first time I did soldering, I soldered right through the motherboard because I pressed too
Oh
hard.
god.
And I
Yeah,
was just
that'll
like,
happen.
yeah, I was just like, I put way too much press and I realized it to be very delicate, just slight touches, slight touches. That's it. But you
Yeah,
made it
like
look easy.
so I had never soldered before, like, I want to say like last June. Like, I think that video is actually why I bought yeah, that video is why I bought a soldering iron. I had never soldered before then.
Hmm.
Um, and since that video, so I got married this past November, which is why I couldn't come on the show before with John, is because I was, wrapped up in all that.
By the way, congratulations.
Planning and stuff. Yeah, thanks. And for the wedding, we really wanted like an audio guest book where, like, it's like like a telephone. You pick up the phone and then, like, you hear a beep and you leave a message, right? And it records the audio. And, like, we were like, okay, we found a website and it was like $800 to rent the thing for one night, right? And I, like, told my wife, I was like, I could probably make that. And I, like, looked up online and, like, I found a, like, guide of somebody making one, and I couldn't find the exact phone he used because he used, like, a really old, like, retro style phone. So I, like, went on Amazon, found, like, a rotary old looking phone that it pretty much just had, like, a small motherboard inside, and, like, I must have spent, like, 40 hours over the course of, like, a month trying to, like, figure out what wires need to be soldered to what, and, yeah, so I was able to make it, and it worked, and I've actually sold a bunch of them online.
Mm.
Um, I actually have some of the chips here that I use. It's basically just a teensy board. It's like similar to a Raspberry Pi in a way. Um, but yeah, I made it work. I sold a bunch of them. I think I've sold 4 or 5 now online. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm just really proud of that. I was able to get that to
Mhm.
work
I'm at the fact
because it
that
was
you
very stressful trying to figure out.
I'm at the fact that you learned a skill and then also turn that skill into something that's profitable to make you money is. I mean, I always think that's always impressive. So I know who to go to when I want to make my Raspberry Pi. I'll
Yeah,
have
there
you
you
do
go.
I'll have you do my tech stuff for me. I'll pay, of course.
I I think, like, a project I would like to do when we inevitably buy a house is I really wanna make my own arcade cabinet
Mm.
because, like, I think it'd be so fun to, like, buy the wood, um, you know, cut it to size, put it all together, find a monitor that I wanna install into it. Yeah, I think that that'd just be such a fun project for a video game nerd like myself. I think it'd be a ton of fun.
You should document the series on Pixel Suit because recently Steve and I just went to an arcade, the Galloping Ghoul, I think it's what it's called.
Galloping
Galloping
Ghost.
Ghost.
Galloping Ghost,
Mhm.
yeah. And Steve,
I saw you post about that. I grew up, like, pretty close to there.
yeah, and they have a whole bunch of arcade machines, a lot of old ones. I think they're all original too, and they're not like or what's it called, like the one up ones or whatever. So I
Yeah.
was like, the people that maintenance those have a lot of skills because obviously you can't just buy those parts anymore. You just have to craft it yourself. But if you learn that stuff, you may potentially have a buyer from Steve because he wants an original arcade.
Well, it's funny that he brought up like he wants to make his own because once upon a time ago, a long time ago, and I definitely don't have the skill set that you have, but me and a buddy, we actually did go and buy wood, and we were gonna think about making our own cabinet, but it never came to fruition, and it was just like we purchased a lot of stuff, but our skill set wasn't there, and then just never happened. But that would be a fun project, and I don't think I really dream about doing it anymore, but who's to say that that can't be rekindled myself? So that would be pretty badass, though.
Yeah, I was at Costco a few weeks ago, and they had, like, one of those arcade one-up cabinets
Mm-hmm.
that was, NFL Blitz,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and I texted my wife, I was like, "Should I buy this thing?" 'Cause it was, like, on sale because they were getting rid of it, and then I ultimately decided no, because it's like, when we buy a house, I do wanna just build an arcade cabinet, put, like, a Raspberry Pi in it, just so I can play, whatever game I want on it. I don't wanna be restricted to just
One game.
Yeah.
NFL Blitz. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would be a lot more cooler to make your own custom one, but on the flip side of that, you could just even just take that and have it kind of pre-made and just then emulate that one cabinet itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of have some of the work done for you. But I kind of had a similar story where I really kind of wanted to buy the Simpsons arcade, the 1-up one, and I was really close to pulling the trigger on it. But same thing, I kind of talked myself off the ledge. I'm like, nah. Similar facets, like it's just I think it was maybe like 2 games in one, but same concept as like, nah, probably not. Unless it goes really stupid cheap, like $100. Okay, maybe I'll pull the trigger. But I think it was still like 300 at the time. I was like, nah, that's okay.
But I'm kind of glad I passed up on the NFL Blitz one too because I looked it up after I left Costco, like when I got home,
Mhm.
and apparently they removed the ability to like I don't know if either of you played Blitz, but they removed the
Long
ability of you to be able to like tackle people after the play's over
Oh, that's
because like
dumb.
you used to be able to like
Yeah, like almost
do
wrestle.
like a leg yeah, like you used to be
Yeah,
able to throw people around after the play.
yeah.
But apparently like the NFL made them take that out for them to give them the
Wow.
license. But
Oh
yeah,
That's
my
like
such
that
a weird
god.
demand.
That
yeah.
is
I mean, it makes sense
stupid.
with like all like the I don't know,
The brain stuff that goes
brutality and stuff.
on. Yeah, all
Yeah.
the I can't think of the word right now, but yeah, no. But it's still silly though. It's really dumb. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So, with obviously we're talking about Pixel Street, and then how you and John basically balance each other because you guys obviously do your Pixel Street podcast every single week, but you guys also do more on your channel. Like I know you tend to do more of like Let's Plays and live gameplay, and what's the other thing that you do? Hold on, I actually seen I had it up here a second ago. Oh, and live reviews of like the Game Awards and all that stuff. Have you ever thought about doing more stuff? Because I know you are into kind of like emulation systems. 'Cause I know you have the Analog Pocket. I know you have the Steam Deck, and I know recently we were talking about the PS Vita. Have you ever thought about making a series on like how to customize these devices and just make it more user friendly for people? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people look into that.
Yeah, so it's something I would like to do. I just like it's like a time thing. I don't know if I have the patience to like edit a video like that together entirely. You know what I mean? Like at one point I filmed a whole video of me and my buddy Kenny putting together his PC.
Mm.
And I looked at the footage of that and I was like, man, it's a lot to try and condense down into like a 10-minute video or something. It's just super intimidating to me. But yeah, like I'd like to do more stuff. Like I like doing unboxings a lot. I don't really do them that often anymore, but I mean, because it's like a one take thing, right? Like I can film the whole thing, throw it into Adobe Premiere Pro, put an intro on it, put an outro on it, like adjust the levels, and like it's a quick thing for me to edit. Like long pauses in between, or if I say something weird and want to cut it out. Like that's something that's like really simple to me. But yeah, like those long form videos, it's just very intimidating for me to try and edit. So I kind of try and steer away from them.
Well, I think you and I share the same similarities with how this works because I love making the content part. I hate editing because it's like the most
Yeah.
boring thing for me. But I know there's people that love it. And props to those people. But I definitely understand your struggle of wanting to edit big files.
I definitely used to love it. I mean, I think I still do love it. It's just kind of piggybacking what Joel said about time. Time is very treasured now. So it's like, I mean, I'm sure Josh, you may have seen like the sketch comedy work I did in the past, and we used to, you know, we would pre-write a little bit, but a lot of it was kind of improv, and we would shoot all same day. I would take the footage, splice it together, and then do all the editing, and I thoroughly loved it because just taking raw footage and piecing it together to get that final product was really achieving. So, but it is time consuming to your point.
I was looking to see what your recent unboxing thing was. Was it really the last unboxing you did was the
Most
Pokemon
recent?
cards?
I don't even know.
I was
I'm
looking
looking.
because I was like, no way, we
Might
were
have
just talking
been.
about Pokemon cards, and I'd seen that the 25th one was like 2 months ago, 25th anniversary box or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, yeah. Pokemon cards probably was the most recent. I do like opening Pokemon cards on stream and stuff. It's a good time.
Do you do that on? Do you do that on your personal Twitch one? Because I don't see it on the Pixel Street one.
Um, Sorry, what's that? Do what?
Oh, I was
The
saying like,
unboxings?
yeah, unboxings.
I think I do it on both. No?
I'm gonna have to look back because I love watching those. I love watching unboxings, even though I don't collect them. I just love watching the packs open up. It's like a what's it called? A satisfaction sense where you just open it. It's like, oh, crisp.
Yeah. We've definitely opened them on Pixel Street before.
Do you use two cameras, like one for the hand cam and then
Yeah.
one for the
Yeah,
face cam?
so I use my phone with Elgato. What's it called? I can't think of what it's
Oh,
called.
the cam link thing? Is that what's called? Or
Is it called Cam? No, not Camlink. What is it? Hold on. Let me search Elgato. Oh, I don't have it installed right now. Oh, Epoch Cam. Epoch Cam? Epoch
oh
Cam? I
yeah,
don't know. But it basically like works as a wireless camera and you can connect it to OBS and stuff. And I use that and I have like a little tripod I aim down at my hands. So
I might have to look into that.
so as you guys
yeah,
have
I
been,
think
oh, I'm
that
sorry, good.
sorry. I think the Elgato app was like $10 and you just connect it wirelessly. It connects to your Wi-Fi.
Is it like $10, like just one payment, or like is it like a monthly thing?
Yeah, just one time.
Oh, okay.
So
Good to know.
is this? Obviously, I've never done that. So if you just take your camera, obviously it's wireless, right? Can you just immediately beam it to like OBS or Streamlabs or something like that, or do you have to like run the Elgato software on your computer too?
That is a good question. I don't remember. Trying to think. I think it just comes up. I think you have to download the Elgato Epoch Cam software. I think it's a separate software,
Mm.
and I think it just works pretty seamlessly through that. I don't think it's like it doesn't use up a lot of your RAM or anything like that. It's not like a big program. I think it's more or less just like a small, like it's something that you would see in your like your taskbar at the bottom right of your computer.
Because the way you made it sound, it almost gave me like ideas of like how you could do like IRL streams where you just use your phone, have it stream to your computer, and you could be like in an arcade playing games and streaming it there, like a
No,
live
yeah.
Pixel Street.
So it only works like connected to your Wi-Fi. So both
Oh,
your phone and your computer have to be connected to your Wi-Fi. I mean, there is a way to do what you're saying. I just have no idea how to do it.
okay. Because you almost sold me there for a second. I'm like $10, and you could just wirelessly stream it to your computer. I'm like,
Yeah.
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also just download like the Streamlabs OBS app on your phone. You could stream straight from there.
Oh, really? Man, I've been I've been making content for over 10 years, and I didn't know that. Dude, I'm slacking. So, is
Yeah,
there any?
download it. Go back to Galloping Ghost with it.
Dude, that all me, you, Steve. Well, John doesn't live here, unfortunately. But I was about to say maybe we could do like a Out of Mana podcast Pixel Street meetup in real life and actually do like a co-op thing together.
Let's do it.
I'll beat
I'm
one
down.
arcade at the same time.
I haven't been to Galloping Ghost since like they first opened.
Oh,
I don't know
dude.
what year it was. Probably around
Dude,
2010,
it is
2011.
fucking huge
And
now.
yeah, I've heard
Mhm.
that they are a lot larger than they used to be. Now
Yeah,
I think it's
dude.
like the largest arcade in the world now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or in the
It's
US or something?
yeah, at least in the country, but it probably could be the world. But yeah, to like similar to you, I hadn't gone in years, and when I last went, it was just kind of like their one section of that block. Now they own the entire block. So
Yeah,
it's just
crazy.
massive, yeah.
yeah. It's like
Ridiculous.
7 buildings connected, 800. I think 800 machines, right? Is what they said.
I think yeah, is it over 800 or 600? It's one or the other. Either way,
Yeah,
that's a shit ton of
it,
machines.
it's a maze of
So
machines.
I have the Wikipedia open and it says that they have over 851 arcade games, which is up from 130 at the time of opening. So that's when I went, is when they had 130 arcade games.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. That's a
And I
600%
remember
increase.
and when I went, it was like one of the first few weeks of them being open too. And so they just had a bunch of games that were just like busted, like people had played them and they broke while people were playing them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that's crazy. 851 arcade games.
Yeah, and
Man,
they're all legit.
yeah. Speaking of which, we should somehow form a connection with Galloping Ghost and because this would be perfect for you, Joel. Imagine having the owner as a guest and understanding like the intricacies of arcade machines, and you can get your information from the source itself on how to build one.
How to build one, yeah.
I mean, he would probably have the most information out of anybody, right?
Probably, but like for what I want to do, I just kind of want to like make a Raspberry Pi and slap it in there. You know what I mean? Like nothing too crazy.
Man, I want to get into the emulation stuff. It's just as much as I like to think I know a little bit of technology when it comes to like actually building, coding, and then I know Raspberry Pis you have to like put all the components together, then install all the software. It's so much for me at this point. There's a lot to learn for sure.
I mean, for Raspberry Pis, there's like at this point a whole database. There's like probably hundreds of YouTube videos that you could watch on how to do whatever you wanted to add to it. So I feel like it's a pretty simple thing to do nowadays, as opposed to like 10 years ago, probably.
So as Pixel Street has been going on throughout the years, do you guys have any goals that you'd like to see with your channel? Like, is there any like big ones you're looking forward to? Any Dreamcast or any kind of content you want to introduce at some point?
Like I've been saying, for me, it's more of just like a passion project thing. Like I just like talking about games and doing nerd stuff. That's a question that would probably be better asked to John, because like he has made a career of it. So pretty much whatever John wants to do is kind of what we do at this point.
there's
Because
like, go ahead.
Because John realistically has more time for like video games and stuff than I do. So like if there's ever anything he wants to do, obviously we just do it. One thing we do want to do is because like I'm not a big Breath of the Wild fan. I played like through most of the game. I got to the end. I beat all 4 divine beasts. I just never beat it. One thing we want to do is we want to do a stream where he's helping me beat the game, because at this point I haven't played the game in like a year at least, and so I don't know any of the controls. I mainly want him to like, because he loves the game, right? And I mainly want him to like show stuff to me while I'm playing the game to see like if he can kind of persuade me over to be like, oh, like this is why this game is great, right? For me, I just see it as like, I don't know, an RPG that you can go anywhere whenever you want, which is like it doesn't appeal to me as much as it does to John.
Have you ever played any of the like original Zelda games?
I'm trying to. So I think the only Zelda game I've ever actually beaten is A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS.
Okay.
I think that's the only one I've fully played through. I never played any like the NES or SNES ones. I played through like a third of Ocarina of Time a few years ago on my 3DS. I think those are the only ones I played. I think I played like 20 minutes of Wind Waker HD because it came with my Wii U, and that's it, I believe. I think those are the only ones I ever touched.
Because the only reason I was asking is because I know Zelda can be a weird series to get into, especially when you go from like top down, like how do you? I wouldn't say a dungeon crawler, but like basically top down. You go from area to area and then you backtrack and problem solve, and then when you come to like more open world stuff like Breath of the Wild, it's just free roaming. It's like that you have no actual control of puzzles except for like the dungeon aspect. It's just explore. That's it. So I was wondering if like the gameplay is what really turned you off from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the Link Between Worlds a lot. I thought that game was great. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't have like that nostalgic like Zelda feel, right? Like there's a lot of people who like really like Zelda games because like that's what they liked when they were young. Like, but for me, it's not like that at all with Zelda.
By any
Did my
chance,
camera freeze?
yeah, I was about to say, by any chance, was it just me that the camera froze?
Yeah, no, he's frozen on mine too.
All I know is that you make a good still image.
Let me see if I can fix it.
Oh, by any chance, has anybody ever told you look like a young George R.R. Martin? Oh, did we lose him?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Technical.
First guest to swear on our podcast and first guest to disconnect on us. What the fuck?
I mean, at this point, we wouldn't be the Out of Mana podcast if there wasn't technical difficulty. Like, it's either mic issues, camera issues or internet issues.
Well, there you go. Now the visual feed is all jacked up. But
Hey.
I guess we'll just keep this conversation going while maybe hopefully reconnect here soon. I don't know how many more questions you really want to ask him regarding Pixel Street, but he did mention he had 90 minutes. I don't know if the audio listeners are aware of that, but we did have some topics we wanted to get into.
Yeah, I was gonna
Uh,
pretty much rep like I was trying to push a little bit more to see what he wanted to do because obviously even you and I we share the same goals, but obviously individually we kind of have some ideas that we want. I want to get that because he obviously he's like us. He's very passionate about what he's into, and I want to know what his ideal person would, as like a guest would be on, or like who would he like what would like make him extremely excited just to see on this channel, and then we can move on to topics.
Cool. Well, when he pops back, and hopefully it's a win, we'll pick that back up. But before we move on to topics, I guess we'll just continue like as if we didn't have a guest today. How's your week been, sir?
Dude, it's been long. It's been, it sucks because my week started off with my car having a massive oil leak. Not like when I say oil leak, it's not like just drips here and there. I'm talking about massive pull on the ground.
So was your entire like pan have like a hole in it?
I have
The
no
oil pan?
idea. I didn't look underneath. All I know is when I parked it, it was fine. When I woke up, pull. And so
Wow.
I called. There's like a family mechanic I know. So I called him, had him look at it. He said the oil's completely gone. So don't start the engine. Don't do anything because if you start the engine, it could screw everything up. So I had to get towed over there, and they're gonna go see if it's a loose core, if there's something damaged underneath. Because I'm like, nothing hit it, so I don't know why anything would be leaking. But it's been a car problems this week, and then just busy with personal stuff. What about you?
Yeah. Overall decent week as well. Or not as well. I'm sorry because you didn't have a good week. Sorry, not to laugh at you, but yeah, no, just another just regular week, man. I don't know what else to really say. I played a little bit more of Crisis Core again. Um, what else? Obviously more WoW. Um, yeah, like status quo, man. A little boring, but I'm trying to think if there's something that really might have been like exciting. I can't really think of it, except for today, because we were talking a little bit before we started our podcast today about Pokemon cards, and today the final installment of the Sword and Shield series is called Crown Zenith, and it was today was the street date for its release, and I have some product to break, and I did a little bit before we started our pod, and I've been happy with what I pulled so far. So,
So
so
did you?
that's kind of been my high for the week. From the last podcast, and this podcast is just ripping Pokemon cards. So,
So I mean, obviously, we talked about it a little bit before the podcast, just like as a
mhm.
warm up.
Yeah,
So are you also going for the Mewtwo card as well, or is there like are you just going for a set? What are
th-
you looking for?
that would be sick. So there is a subset to this set, which they tend to do quite often now, and the subsets usually have like the most coolest artwork. Like it's just cool artwork. Like I can't really specify enough. And then not only is it cool artwork, like if you see the images online, which you could Google that, they look great. But when you actually hold in your hand, it just looks that much better. Like it's just hard to put it into words. I did pull because we didn't really talk about this before the pod, but I pulled what you probably might have seen because I shared it on Twitter. But I pulled a Radiant Charizard card, which is just cool looking. I don't think it's really worth that much, but it's still badass. But my favorite card so far is a Mew card, and it's the artwork is pretty much Mew sleeping with a bunch of Pokemon around him or it, whatever her, and it's just kind of watching him sleep. So I thought that card was pretty cool. Really like that one.
Do you mind if I show your Twitter on the stream?
Sure.
Okay. So for people watching, for people that have audio, right now we're currently looking at Twitter, and we can see pictures of the Pokemon cards that Steve bought. Those actually look really cool. What's his name again? Reggie Ellick? Regelic?
Oh, you did the sets, yeah. I could probably maybe even post another one or two while you're about to bring that up.
Oh,
So,
it also has a dragon one too. Dude, they look awesome.
yeah, and those I haven't even broke yet. Like, I only broke one what's called Elite Trainer box. Um, and I have one more to break. And then those two box sets that you're talking about, the Reggie Drago and Reggie something electric.
Do they still come with those weird like plastic coins?
Yeah, well, yes. However, the boxes this time they're actually metal. They're like, I don't know, not aluminum, but some sort of metal.
I'm
But
I'm not sure.
uh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, I'm also, I don't know if you're really, I didn't see you bring up the Twitter. Oh, you did it on your stream, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm posting a couple more pictures on there too if
Are
you want
you
to
putting
see
in the
them.
same thread that you posted, or is it?
The same thread. I'm just kind of going ham with it.
Oh, when you were talking about Radiant Charizard, I was thinking about like it's like a complete like full burst art. Radiant Charizard is just black. No, the shiny Charizard.
Yeah, it's for whatever reason yeah, it is a shiny Charizard, but they call it Radiant. But the whole card, like the way it shines is like more shiny than a holographic card. Um,
Oh, dude, that's. Wait, hold on. What's that one?
so those are just a few.
Ponyta, Mew. Oh, I thought this was like a collaboration card, but it's just Mew with all of
It,
them looking around. That's so
yeah,
cool,
yeah,
dude.
yeah. It's just a Mew card, but it has like all those other Pokemon. It's really cool. Like I said, the artwork that they do for their like alt cards are just so sweet.
Yes, we got Joel back.
All right, welcome back, sir.
Can you hear me? I'm
Yes.
back.
Yeah, we could hear you.
And my
I
computer
thought
like
my last question might have offended you or something. So.
no, my computer like completely froze up for some reason.
Dude, you're complete. This honestly, if it was, oh, did we lose him again?
Oh, maybe.
Joel, you still there?
Might have lost him again.
I was just about, I gave him the Out of Mana podcast curse. I was just about to say that, and the next thing you know, DC again. All right, we'll give him a second. Sorry for people listening. Currently he's having some computer issues. He let us know in Discord. So hopefully, very soon. Oh, there. Oh, that was weird.
Lost the whole video feed again.
Yeah, it's like he just talked and then somehow it just kicked him. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, looks like he's trying to connect back in.
Here, I'm gonna try some. For people, I'm gonna do a quick cut. I'm actually gonna end the call and then restart. Maybe that might help. All right, I'm gonna disconnect and reconnect.
Wait, so I think I need to. Oh no, you just rejoined. Did you want to like
Yeah.
I didn't leave the call.
Yeah, leave.
All right.
Did you not leave? Okay, there he left. All right. Let's start it again. Tech issues.
How's that?
You and I are fine. He said his internet. I think he might have had ISP issues.
Oh.
Sorry for the dead air. I'm right now. He's messaging on Discord. He says now his internet cut out. So hopefully maybe it's a router issue because he says give him a minute. So maybe he has to do like a restart or something. Dude, I totally understand. Internet issues. It sucks big time. So what were you saying before that happened? I'm sorry. I got all discombobulated.
No, it's fine. It makes sense as to why you get combobulated. Oh no, I mean we're just talking about Pokemon cards and how much I'm enjoying the artwork in this set, and that's the subset that I'm talking about is a total like 70 cards, and I think in the one box alone I got 6 of them, so I thought that was pretty good. I would love to have the whole set, but that's probably not going to happen. But who knows? Maybe. I know one of my buddies bought a box too, so I'm gonna see if maybe he gets doubles or something, and maybe we could trade. And like how I mentioned on a previous podcast, I would love to still go out and find a shop or whatever small community that actually has like trade nights or something.
I'll do that.
So
Be
I'd love to
super cool.
complete some of. Yeah, I would love to complete some of these sets. Speaking of going out and checking out places, I know you mentioned like card shops and stuff. And the one I went to earlier today was more like a sports card shop, which I know isn't your cup of tea. But r- right next door is a comic book shop. So I don't know if that may pique your interest. It's a decent size one. It's not like super small. It's not super big either. I was about to walk in, but I knew I had to get home for this. Plus, I wanted to rip some Pokemon cards before the podcast, if I'm being honest. But but yeah, I was like, I was like, oh, I gotta let Josh know about this place because maybe there's something maybe
Oh
I'll
yeah,
check
for
out
sure.
one day.
Yeah, you said it's by your area.
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes away from me, so
Oh, so if when I visit you, you could just take me there. All
I
right.
will take you there.
Back.
Ooh.
Yes.
Hey, what's
Hopefully
up?
this is permanent.
Hopefully for good.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
I was
All right.
saying earlier that it wouldn't be the Out of Mana podcast without technical issues. Like we have this every single week. Like it's either me screwing something up, it's either a mic issue, camera issue. So unfortunately, you inherited our curse.
I mean, it worked in my favor though, because I really had to pee. So
So before we move on from this, there's like no. I mean, obviously you are passionate about games and talking about nerd stuff like we are, but there's no like dream guest you'd love to have on just to like nerd out, ask questions of like a series like Halo, Diablo, Destiny.
guests. I don't know. I'm thinking of a dream guest in terms of gaming.
You're like, oh, give me the developers. I just want to ask them stuff, fix their game.
Yeah, like maybe somebody from 343 that has answers, so I can be like, what the fuck is going on over there? Like, why is the game where it is today? In regards to Halo Infinite, just because like Halo's my game, right? Like that's like Halo 2, my favorite game of all time. I have a fucking Master Chief helmet right here on this table. I have my wife got me this as a wedding gift, a decanter
Oh,
that
nice.
is the Master Chief helmet. Like it just I don't know, like it's my favorite game franchise of all time. And right now it's just in a very, very bad place.
I'm surprised you didn't bust
but
out
yeah.
the glasses too, because I know you got 4 Master Chief helmets as well.
Yeah, well, I mean the glasses they're in a box. The only reason this is out is because there's still booze in it. But once the booze is gone, it'll go back in the box until we get a house and I have a man cave of some sort.
So since
Man.
you are such a huge Halo fan, I still haven't been able to take in the series. Josh said he did, but it didn't seem like he was totally over the moon with it. So what was your take on it, being like the super fan you are?
You can go watch our review on Pixel Street Videos.
There you go.
So I have a really close friend, Will. I met him on Halo 2 when I was like in 7th grade, right? And we've been really close friends ever since. He came to my wedding. I go visit him down in Indianapolis like 2 or 3 times a year. And so he is also a huge Halo nerd like myself. And we were reviewing every episode. And I think there were 10 episodes that came out, and we stopped at 8. We stopped reviewing the show.
Wow.
Because it got real bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
The show it deviates so far from what Halo like the games are and like any plot points the games have to where it's just really, really bad show to watch if you're a huge Halo fan like myself.
Okay, see, I was gonna like throw that caveat in there because like I don't know much of it, and I'm just kind of basing my like, oh my god, I do really want to watch that at some point, just based off the trailer, and not really knowing anything about it. So that's kind of why I want to ask, just to kind of get get more opinions on it. So.
It's funny that you said that. Hello. I'm assuming that's the wife.
Yeah, just took the dog out.
So it's funny that you said that because I actually stopped watching it probably around episode 6 or 7 after like what's that girl's name where she goes on and has like the swarm with her.
Couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even tell you their names.
And it's
Some of 'em.
disappointing because like episode 1 had a lot of potential. Like it basically felt like the beginning of Reach. You know, you're seeing the Covenant go, and then you see Master Chief, and then episode 2 having you're like, oh no.
Yeah, there's a lot of episodes that are just super boring to watch at all.
Yeah.
Also, I want to point out that Steve says that this is going to be his last hurrah for Pokemon cards, but this man literally has all the Pokeballs above his head. He's got every Funko Pop ever released probably on the ground there. Like, let's be honest, Steve, you're buying Pokemon cards for the foreseeable future.
You're not wrong, sir. You're not wrong.
He's gonna go till the day
I will
dies.
probably cave at some point. You're not wrong.
So,
go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
I was gonna say before we move on to the Last of Us thing. So you said Halo is your favorite series of all time, right? So you kind of answered one of the questions that we're gonna lead into is your favorite video game series. So you said you started with Halo 2. Is that truly your favorite Halo, or are you just saying that because you started on it?
It's my favorite Halo game just because of like it kind of what made me a gamer. I remember going over to like a good friend's house, and he had an Xbox, he had Halo 2, and he had broadband internet, which at the time is just like state of the art internet, right? Like I still had dial up at my house.
Same.
And so I just remember being there, and like he was just addicted to playing it, and I was like, oh cool. And then like I just assumed he was playing with like bots, right? But he's like, no, like these are real people. Like I can talk to them. And we start talking to him. Like, this is insane, right? Like you could play games with people on the internet. That's wild. And so like that next Christmas, that's what I wanted for Christmas. I wanted an Xbox and Halo 2. I got an Xbox and Halo 2 and found out that you need broadband internet.
Oh.
So I couldn't play it for like 2 months because I had to wait until my parents finally got better internet. Me and my siblings had to convince them to do it, but yeah, it's my favorite game just because, like I said, I met my friend Will, good friend of mine, through Halo 2. I met a bunch of other good friends that all came to my wedding as well through Halo 2. Like, I met them when I was in 7th grade. Like, I'm 30 years old now. Like, I've known these people most of my life at this point. So it's just like it's such a crazy thing to me. Like, I went to one of their weddings in Toronto. I went to another friend's wedding down in St. Louis, and all these people were at my wedding this past November. So I don't know. Halo 2 is just like my favorite game of all time just because of the
Everything
online
associated
aspect
with
of it. Yeah, like the online aspect of it. I think that it did a lot of good in terms of like setting a foundation for what online gaming can be for like
Oh,
first person shooters and stuff.
100%, yeah.
For games after it, but yeah, it's definitely Halo 2 for me. And like that's like I like the story, I like the campaign a lot, but like that's not I wouldn't say it's like my favorite Halo campaign ever. But yeah, it's a ton of fun.
I would have to definitely agree with that because Halo Reach is my favorite, but my second favorite is Halo 2 because of the campaign and also the multiplayer. But what is your least favorite Halo game? Because I kind of started dropping off the series at Halo 4. Halo 4 was like my nail in the coffin for me. Still played 5 and Infinite, but 4 was the dead end.
I could do like a cop out and say it was like Halo Spartan Assault, if you know what that is.
Oh, the mobile game that turned into a 360 game?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, my least favorite? I'm trying to think. Like Halo Infinite's in a bad place, but I think the story for Halo Infinite's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Halo 5 maybe? I just did not like Locke at all.
Interesting. Yeah, that story was weird that they were chasing Master Chief and then he had this weird thing with the Guardians and then they just dropped it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can see that. It's
Halo
like
5's
Go ahead.
probably my least favorite.
That's pretty fair, yeah, because they did this whole setup for Halo 4. Halo 5 was supposed to be like the big edition, giving you all the loose ends, and it's just like left you with more loose ends. So I know we're gonna talk about this. So I know you talked about this on the Pixel Street podcast, like not even a day ago, for The Last of Us. How would you rank that show out of all the video game shows that there's been?
Easily the best one. I think it's easily the best one. And that's me considering like movies as well. Like video game movies. I think that The Last of Us is easily the best.
Just all live action adaptations, yeah.
Yeah, having played The Last of Us all the way through, the first game, I think that so far this is easily the best video game adaptation in like another form of media.
I would have to concur for the first episode, but seeing the sneak peeks of the future episodes, I'm a little concerned.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. So far, I think it's the best. But yeah, like you said, we'll see what the next there's 9 episodes total, so we'll see what the next 8 episodes bring.
So I forgot, did
oh.
you actually play the games?
Yeah, I've played both of them.
Okay, so you know the whole story. Obviously, we'll try to be as vague as possible. But when you watch the first episode, and I know Steve has, so you could talk about this too. Did you see the what did they call it? I guess like the preview sneak peek of the whole season and what they showed in it?
I definitely saw the sneak preview. Nothing stood out to me that would concern me though. So I don't know what you're talking about.
So it's
You're an island on your own, Josh.
so well maybe I noticed it because they basically seem to be cutting out a lot of stuff from Last of Us 1 and jumping to Last of Us 2 right away, because in this one season you're gonna see where Last of Us Part 2 takes place, and that was never in the first game.
Oh, I didn't see that in the preview.
Because you could see it, you could see where Tommy is. It's snowing. He's in this town where Last of Us 2 is, and I'm kind of concerned that they're going to be jumping too much instead of fleshing out the story that they need. For Last of Us 1, like with the Fireflies, the journey in between, and all that stuff.
I guess your
now
fear is
now I'm googling if they announce if the game is just following the first game, if the show's just if season 1's just following the first game or not.
I don't think they announced anything like that, and that's something me and Josh talked about before the show even aired, as to how far, because I didn't play the game, so like Josh has a more better idea as to where the show would go in lengths in line with the video game, or games per in this case, as we're talking about it. Versus like I don't have any idea, and his line of thought was like maybe they'll spend this whole season on maybe half of the first game,
Yeah,
or something of that magnitude, and then season 2 would pick up and then finish game 1 with the cliffhanger of game 2. So I don't know if I would say that spoiled anything for me what you just said right there, Josh, but it'd be interesting to see how far along they go. I think that would be bad. I'll kind of co-sign that with Josh without even knowing anything about the game, that if you're taking all of season 1 to cover all of game 1 and then entering game 2, because that's like, why would you do that? You're kind of almost setting yourself up for failure. However, there's also been rumors that they want to do a third game already, and it's probably already under development and been under development. So maybe that has something to do with it. So seasons are going to take even longer to make, and then maybe drop the third game, and then eventually the show would even carry into the third game. Who knows? But
you know what's interesting too is I think HBO has a knack of doing shows that are just 3 seasons long. So that would be really weird if they decided to do 3 seasons of the show and like kind of corresponded it with the game. Because like I mean, we know they're gonna release a third Last of Us game at some point. But
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's hard to say. Like some of my favorite HBO shows, I started with way back in Entourage. That had a lot of seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, Game of Thrones was what, 6, 8? What? How many seasons was it? 9? Okay. I loved Boardwalk Empire. That was 8 seasons. So the whole line of 3 seasons and done. I don't know how. I mean, I don't know how accurate
you're looking at
is,
their big series. There's a lot of little series like their DC stuff that usually gets canned quickly.
Yeah, but I mean, this could. I mean, as popular as it is, it could turn into a big series if they do it right. Because I mean, it was their second all-time within the first 48 hours of views, right? It was like 4.7 million, only behind the House of the Dragons premiere, which was 10 million. And then within a 5-day period, they hit 10 million viewers. So the success is there.
My worry is that it's gonna fall under the same umbrella as like Game of Thrones, where Game of Thrones got like so popular to where they just had to keep doing the show past where the books were, because they wanted to make that money. And I'm worried that we're going to get to a point where we're going to get season 1 of The Last of Us. Let's say it does follow just the first game.
Mhm.
And then season 2, I could see them probably making that into 2 separate seasons.
Mhm.
And Josh can probably agree with me based on what the second game is. I could see them making that seasons 2 and 3, but then they're going to get greedy, I feel like they did with Game of Thrones, and then come out with another season of something that has not happened in the games.
Mhm.
And then that's going to be kind of the turning point to where it's like, okay, like, is the show spoiling what's going to happen in the game coming up, or are they just kind of going their own paths?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the only way they could do it is if they made a after after matching after matching where The Last of Us Part 2 ends within the show, say that's season 2, say that's season 3, I think they then just have to kind of do like a sideshow where it just like follows some other community or something within this world that The Last of Us has made, because you're going to have a lot, like right now you have a lot of happy gamers who love the game and think the show's great. But if
Mhm.
you create an instance like Game of Thrones where the show passes the game,
Yeah.
then it's not going to be a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I could see where that's a cause for concern for sure, but like at the same time, like I just me personally, without even knowing the games, like I don't want to really think that negatively, because like to both of your really brief reviews, like I loved it too. I thought it was fucking stellar from beginning to end. Especially the opening. Like the opening just laid it all for you. There's no gray area. This is what it's about. This is like, you play something like Resident Evil or something and you're like wondering what is it? Or Walking Dead, for example. I didn't finish watching it, so I don't really know what caused the virus. Maybe they finally gave that information, but um, but for a while you don't know. But when you start The Last of Us, they give it to you right then and there. This is what caused it. I love that.
So to go on to Joel's, to play on Joel's side, the reason why I'm concerned is that they're going to do a Game of Thrones is because I don't know if he's like the director or the executive producer, Neil Druckmann. He said they weren't going to pull a Game of Thrones. They weren't going to deviate from the source script. And what did they do in the very first scene? They deviated from the source script. Because the way the fungus spreads isn't from global warming. It's because of, I believe it's crop mutation, like wheat and all that stuff. And they kind of showed it a little bit, why, Joel and Ellie, or sorry, Joel and, I forgot what the daughter's name is, didn't have pancakes and all that stuff. Yeah, Sarah. Why they didn't have pancakes and why he didn't have biscuits and all that stuff is because the fungus actually came from the wheat in the games. But this way, but in the show, I mean, obviously, it is a nice way to introduce a show and say what's happening. Like it was 1980, they said fungus will cause this infection, and so it kind of gave viewers a little insight of how this would happen, which honestly was a nice, like horrifying opening. But they did deviate, and I'm like, why would the executive producer director say they weren't going to do that when they actually decided to change it?
But you could also be basing that off of one episode. They could probably still clarify that in future episodes.
Well, they've never had that opening in the game.
No, I understand that.
And they never had that dialogue either.
But that's kind of why I liked it though, because I mean,
I'm not saying
you don't want a TV show to be an exact one-for-one racial mirror of a video game. It's not going to work that way.
You're not understanding what I mean. I'm not saying I hate it. I liked it. But I'm saying that because they are changing, and he's basically counteracting what he says, where he's not going to change the source material, that's where I'm getting that Game of Thrones fear, is that because he said he wasn't and then he did, that's my issue.
But
like
I made the correlation to the game where it was through crops and wheat. So yet you made that correlation because you played the game versus I didn't, right? So dare I say that's a little bit of a spoiler, but they could still bring that to light in future episodes to show how it spread through that measure, through that means.
Well, they're never going to tell you directly. Then. They're never. It's like when you play The Last of Us, you get it through like reading like the collectible parts. That's how you kind of get it. They don't tell you like straight up, this is what it is. You have to actually read into it.
But they still explain it though.
Yeah, but like I think that's why they did the opening, because there's no collectibles in the show. They just straight to your face. But they did it in an alternate way and how the game actually explains it to you. That's what I'm trying to say.
And to that similar fashion, though, just because I would have never put that together, right? So since you were able to put that together, isn't that in the same capacity like Easter eggs, right? Through the TV show, they're explaining the way it actually spreaded, not just from a cold open.
So I think you think I'm saying I dislike it. I'm not saying that.
No, I'm not saying that either.
I-
I'm just trying. Okay, what I'm defending is your deviation remark, because if you're basing it on one exact episode, fine. But I guess I'm blindly defending his statement by saying, "Well, hold the phone, let it play out for future episodes."
But if it didn't happen in the game, that's deviation regardless. And he said he would never do that. That's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I've never said it was a bad thing. I'm just saying it's
that's
weird
fine.
that he says one thing, how he's going to just follow the source material,
Mhm.
and then adds more onto it, which I think is a good thing. But it's just weird that he said that.
Yeah. All right, Joe, we need you to jump in, man.
I was gonna say, I think the fact that like people like Steve who have never played the games are enjoying the show, it says a lot to how good the show actually is on its own. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm burnt out on the whole zombie thing. Like it's been like shoved down our throats since like 2005, somewhere around there, like around the Left 4 Dead days, where it's just like it all feels the same, right? Like
Mhm.
Dying Light 2, I just played through that, last year, 2 years ago, whenever I don't even remember when that came out. And now Dead Island 2 is coming out, and like John loves zombie games, and he's super excited for Dead Island 2. But for me, it's like I could pass, right? Like it looks exactly like Dying Light 2, probably just has a different story. So yeah, I think that says a lot to how good the show actually is on its own.
Yeah. I think same thing with me. Like I feel like I get zombie fatigue too. Like I mean, I was enamored with Walking Dead when it first came out as well. I fell off at the spoiler alert for anybody that never saw it. But when they finally killed off Glenn and whatever. And speaking of deviations and stuff,
That's literally right when I stopped watching.
really,
It's
that
like
is so funny.
I like so like you see like it was the season finale before, right? You see
Mhm.
Negan with the bat
Uh-huh.
hit somebody.
Yep.
Then the first episode next season, you see who it was. That's when I stopped.
That's
I watched that.
exactly the same fucking episode that I stopped watching. Done. I started getting a little bit tied to the sideshow pilot and stuff, but I never kept up with it. I felt like that was a little bit more entertaining to me than the actual show, and I never went back. Never went back.
I've
I
actually
do-
thought of going back and like picking up where I left off.
You
just
should,
to,
because
like,
I think it's
see
great.
where it goes.
and just
Well,
binge it.
I think when you watch it, like you do get, like you said, it's fatigue, but the story is still there. Like I think the Whisperers and Commonwealth are great villains, much better than Negan and the Governor.
I love
Obviously,
the governor.
well, if you like the Governor, Commonwealth is basically Governor 2.0 but better.
Cool.
Because like they have like a well, you'll see if you watch it, you'll see.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you pick it up, I definitely recommend it because when they split the storyline of Negan's war, it kind of drags out quite a bit, and I think that's where people get lost. But after that, it just like speeds up. But how do you feel about the Last of Us casting?
I love Pedro Pascal in anything he does, so
Yeah,
I think he's great. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's fine. Like they're never gonna be a one for one what the game is. You know what I mean? So, but I think they did as good of a job as they probably could have. Like who else would you cast for those roles?
That's it. That's what I was saying the first time. Is like like, it's super hard to get that extreme likeness. Um, but dude, I feel bad for what's her name, Bella Ramsey. That's the girl that plays Ellie, I think. Dude, she's getting so much hate for her looks. Not even the way she's acting, just her looks alone. She's getting so much hate, and I feel bad for her.
I would say
I mean,
fuck 'em.
yeah, I was gonna say the show's good enough to where like a few more episodes in, people aren't even gonna care anymore. They're gonna care more about what the show actually is as opposed to who's playing Ellie.
I think I concur with that assessment. Even though, like, I once again didn't play the games, but I obviously know what they look like. Don't really know fully how they act and sounded like, but I mean, for me, it doesn't bother me. I think the only thing that bothers me is like I know they both were from Game of Thrones, so I'm trying to like slowly
Yeah.
take that part out.
I was gonna make a joke about Pedro Pascal in both shows, but it would spoil what's happening in Last of Us.
Oh Lord, there you go.
Joel knows.
Again.
Joel knows what I'm talking about with what's gonna happen.
But correct me if I'm wrong, because I did watch also the post episode stuff, and the chick that was the leader of that division of the Fireflies, that's the same actress from the game.
The voice actress.
So that's
Yeah.
so that's pretty cool.
And
I
that
think that's pretty cool.
I want to know if the person that plays Tommy in the show, if he's the actual voice actor for the Tommy in the game, because he sounds exactly like video game Tommy.
Oh really? Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think I've seen him from something else. But that doesn't mean he didn't do the voice acting. But like, I feel like I've seen him somewhere else before though, like in acting and like TV shows or something.
Yeah, because like that, I tried to keep myself as blind as I could going into the show
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want to, ruin for me. Because I,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, there's obviously certain things I didn't like, but when I heard Tommy for the first time, I'm like, doesn't look like Tommy, but sounds exactly like him. What's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a nice little surprise.
I'm
Yeah.
looking it up right now because now I'm curious.
The other thing, I'm sure, Josh, you probably read a lot of this stuff, but they also mentioned that initially this episode was supposed to be 2 episodes, and
It's probably
HBO,
better. Oh god.
yeah, the HBO executives pressed them to make it one episode, one long episode. I'm glad they did because it deserved it. It needed it, dare I say. Because I think the initial split was going to be all episode 1 was just Joel, and then episode 2 was going to be um, Ellie's part. So I'm glad they did it the way they did it.
Fun fact: the voice actor for Tommy, his name is Jeffrey Pierce. He does not play Tommy in the show. In the show, Tommy is played by Gabriel Luna, but Jeffrey Pierce plays somebody else in the show and is in 5 episodes.
Ooh.
Interesting.
That's because I know that they like. I think most of the main voice actors are in the show to some capacity, like whether they're small roles or larger ones. But yeah, it's interesting that he's going to be in 5 episodes as somebody else.
That's cool.
That it, man, I think that's the one thing that would make me really interested in the show, and I'm glad they're doing this because a lot of like video game shows they kind of almost like sideline the video game actors, and the fact that HBO is actually including them in some way or another, like obviously with the girl from the Firefly, she actually reprised her actual role in the show, and then obviously you said Tommy's in it in another form or fashion. I wonder what's the guy's name that played Joel? I forgot his name.
Troy Baker.
Yeah, Troy Baker. I wonder if he's going to be in the show at all, like as like an ad, like a like a background character or something.
Yeah, I'm sure he will be.
But going on to what I was saying is, how do you foresee this? I mean, obviously we're just making predictions here. We don't know, but how do you think this season's going to end? Because I was hoping that season 1 would be Joel and Ellie getting to. Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it for you. He could take. He's a little weird about that, but getting to the base at the end of the game 1, and then season 2 basically expands more on the Fireflies. Like I'm hoping that each game is 2 seasons each.
I hope that it follows the first game completely, just because I want to see that end scene.
You want to see it?
Well, without spoiling it, I want to see that end scene and how it's portrayed. This man even has a World of Warcraft chair. That's wild.
It's actually a really nice looking chair. Yeah, he's a huge World of Warcraft fan.
So I can tell by the swords.
I don't know how true this is because I've seen this on Twitter, but I think that supposedly they casted Abby already, or at least that's what people are speculating is that they casted Abby.
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't know about that.
So, man, he really. I actually don't think he's avoiding spoilers. I think he had to go to the bathroom and get a drink.
No, you guys started talking spoilers, so I had to walk away.
Oh, he can hear us still.
I mean, now I can hear you.
Well, whatever, dude, you replied perfectly.
Hold on. What are those headphones doing if you could hear us without them on?
No, I'm saying like the audio was still coming out, but I walked out the room when you guys were talking about like end of season predictions and stuff.
Well, I kept it very vague. There was no spoilers there.
I didn't know that.
I told you I was keeping it vague.
I didn't know that.
But
either way, anyway.
What do you think? What's your predictions, Joel? Oh wait, I guess I asked him. He said he wants to see the game.
No. Being vague, I just want to see it. I want the first season to follow the first game. That's what I personally want. But that's me being greedy because I know the whole story, right? So I don't know.
Steve wants Ellie to die right away.
Right away. It's because of her looks.
So Steve, do you plan on playing the games at all?
No. So my backstory with that is I started played it for about an hour, and immediately came to the conclusion I didn't want to play it anymore. I just wanted to watch it. And I never did watch it, but now I get it in a live action format, so best of both worlds for me.
Gotcha. You see, having played it on the PS4, I didn't play it until the remastered version, and not even like when it first came out, like years later. Watching the show makes me want to buy the remaster or the remake. Is it a remake or I don't even know
So
on PS5?
Probably remaster.
no, it's like basically like Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake, like completely overhauled. They
Oh.
changed certain gameplay aspects and all that stuff.
Mm.
But are you willing to spend the full $60, or are you gonna wait until it's on sale?
No, no. I would. I think it's $70, isn't it?
Oh
It's a
yeah,
PS5 game?
$70. Yeah, it's so silly, dude. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
why they have that price.
I will not. I don't think I would pay more than like $40 for that. That's the reason I haven't bought it, is because I personally am kind of against them remaking games that game specifically. It came out in 2013, right? And then it got a remaster, and
Now a
now it has a
remake.
remake, like all within 10 years. That's wild.
And not only that, but the remake is more expensive than the original game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do know, because of this first episode, like their sales have spiked, and I'm assuming it's
I'm
that
sure.
version and not the original one, but I'm not entirely sure.
I mean,
So,
it
I
makes
think
sense to be the PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of it too is that PS5 version is also coming to PC, I think this month, right? Or next month, something like that.
I think
coming to
it's
Steam.
coming relatively soon. Yeah, I know Returnal and The Last of Us are coming. I just don't know the date. Maybe Returnal comes out next month, and then No, I don't know. I'm speculating here. But either way, PC players are definitely going to be happy, and it's going to boost their sales even more once it reaches that market, because I know it did amazing numbers for Spider-Man. But, so, is there anything you want to add about The Last of Us? Because I know I'm looking forward to... I mean, obviously, even if I don't like the season, I'm still going to watch it because I like The Last of Us, and I want to see how it compares to the game. Because so far, the first episode did very well for the majority part, going side by side with the games. So, I think I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I think I'll enjoy it as well.
I'm already enjoying it.
Well, even if they completely deviate, you wouldn't even know, so you'll just like it no matter what.
And I think I have that like as an advantage to enjoy it without knowing those deviations, versus like, we always talk about live action adaptations, like, oh, what ifs, like, I think we always talk about Zelda being adapted to a live action and stuff of that magnitude, and how it could stain the love of the franchise that you like. So I guess in this regard, I'm kind of glad that I didn't experience the games. Hopefully it stays good, but especially for Josh's sake.
Yeah, I think it would probably devastate me if The Last of Us turned into the Halo show.
Yeah, I think the fact that you both were pretty like on par with that show and how it kind of, for lack of better words, tanked, is kind of sucks. Like now, I really kind of want to binge that just to see, because I once again know absolutely nothing about Halo, and kind of like see how I like it and actually watch it all in comparison to you guys having a big love for the franchise.
Yeah. So, I know this was something. This is something Joel mentioned on the Pixel Street podcast, which is awesome, and we were talking about before. But Joel is going to be going to Mario World very soon. Mario World
Yeah.
Universal,
Jealous.
and I know Steve and I were talking about going to new places like conventions and all that stuff. Like, I think BlizzCon, if it happens this year, we would love to go there too. And I'm like, because you are getting so hyped for Mario World, that's I think opening February 17th. Is that when you're going, or are you going at a different time?
Oh yeah, we're going that weekend.
That week?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're gonna be there when
Yeah.
it's completely packed.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to hook me
That's
up
where
with a
I'm going.
Mario sweater, man.
Dude, I haven't even looked at like the merch they sell. All I know is they have like a popcorn bucket that's shaped like a star.
Hmm.
Yeah, I really don't know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I'm
don't-
super excited to go.
Yeah, I would probably blow so much money if I go.
Oh yeah, that's in the plan. I'm sure that's what's gonna happen.
So have you actually seen like any of the screenshots and previews that they had online, or are you keeping yourself
Yeah.
completely blind to that?
So I have, and it's mainly because like the TikTok algorithm like sees everything I look up, right? So like they probably saw that I looked up stuff about it, and now like it's like every 5 videos I scroll through, I see like somebody walking through the world or a live stream of somebody who's there already because like they've been doing preview events there. Um, so yeah, I kind of like I know what to expect going in.
So was it hard for you to like score tickets and score lodging?
So this kind of all came about in a whim like a month ago,
Uh-huh.
maybe a little less than a month ago. One of my buddies who I raid with, he like tweeted like, "Hey, it'd be really cool if anybody wanted to go to, Super Nintendo World for my birthday because it,
Uh-huh.
it opens on my birthday." And I like just reply, I was like, "Yo, I'd kind of be like, I might be interested," like kind of jokingly.
Mm-hmm.
And then turns out now 5 of us are going. So yeah, I don't know. We all split an Airbnb. It's me, my friend Chad, and two other friends that like we all raid in Destiny together, but we haven't all met in person before, so it'll be
Mm.
the first time we meet in person.
Cool.
Um, yeah, and we're just gonna go for the weekend
Wow.
to
Yeah,
Universal.
because I asked that because I mean I kind of like what Josh saying. I would love to go too, except fortunately nothing has come to fruition, kind of like your story has. But just like the planning for these type of events, especially the same week it opens, like I feel like that would have been a really hard thing to achieve. And Josh had mentioned BlizzCon, and the um, for BlizzCon, just the anticipation. Also, COVID stopped it for a couple years. That all the hotels for that projected weekend that it might happen are already sold out, and it's just like, how the hell? Like, I want to go. I haven't gone since '05, which was the very first one, and it's like, damn, how hard is it to even get a ticket if they actually do one? So um, that's kind of why I asked the question, like, was it hard to get tickets? Because like if you're going the first weekend, like I felt like that almost would have been like a unobtainable task.
Yeah, so we just bought tickets to Universal because like
Mm-hmm.
that's all you need is a ticket to Universal,
Mm-hmm.
and so we didn't have any issues. As far as I
That's
know, I
crazy.
don't think they've sold out of tickets to it that day.
That's interesting.
Um, I'll be interested to see when we get closer to the launch day if they have some sort of thing like maybe you have to check in on the app to I don't know. I'll be really bummed though if like for some reason we're not able to go.
That would suck. Now they're not charged, like you mentioned. You got a regular Universal Studios pass, which obviously is your ticket to the entire theme park, so to
Yeah.
speak. They're not charging a separate premium ticket just to
No.
get it. Okay, okay. I'm just making sure because I haven't really
Yeah,
done my
it's all
homework
just
on it.
under the Universal ticket,
Okay,
which is nice.
that's good. Yeah. Hmm. Well, hopefully not. Like, yeah, that'd suck to go all the way out there and then wait in a line or something that you can't even get into the damn Nintendo world.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine because like they've been doing testing there like now and it doesn't look super packed like and anybody can go in there right now, I believe. So
Hmm. Okay.
So, I mean, I'm not sure if you know this because I know you said you kind of going blind on this. Do you do you think they're gonna copy the one that's in Japan, or do you think it's gonna be completely new for America?
I think there's going to be a lot of similar stuff, but I like I don't know if the ride's exactly the same. I know it's Mario Kart, but I don't know if it's the exact same thing. I literally know nothing about it. I'd
Have you
imagine the merch is probably the same, just because that's like an easy thing for them to keep the same and produce.
mm. Have you ever been to like any other like big amusement parks like that? Well, I think that's
I
the one in
went
Florida,
to
Universal for Harry Potter.
I think I've been to both Disneyland and Disney World. I haven't been to any since I was like 7 years old though. Between 7 and 10, I'd say, is the last time I went to any of these. I don't like rides very much. Like I'm not a big roller coaster person, so I typically just stay away from them. But yeah, I don't know. I've been wanting to go to Galaxy's Edge, so I got to do that at some point. Super Nintendo World is going to be a ton of fun. I know they have the Hogwarts thing there. I forget which one is in Hollywood. I know it's the smaller one. It's the less cool one of the two Universal Studios, but still excited to check it out.
It's weird that Florida has like the bigger attractions. Like you think California would be the one that has the biggest one, but I don't know why it's flipped. But either way, I mean, the fact that you said you haven't gone since you were like 7, this will be the first time you've gone in a while. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty excited.
So I know you said you're not the biggest ride guy. Do you think you're actually going to go on a ride when you get there, or are you just gonna more watch the attractions when you're there?
I mean, like, I'll definitely do the Mario Kart one because it's probably not crazy intense. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what my wife tries to make me do. I think she's more excited that like, because like my friends that are going are for sure going to go on rides. So, and my wife likes roller coasters. I'm just too scared to do it. Like
Yeah,
I've gone on roller coasters in the past. It's never been a good time. It's never something I've been like sought out to do. You know what I mean?
you're not the only one, man. I don't like the feeling that if this thing breaks, I'm dead. I don't like the feeling
Exactly.
of no control.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it obviously I haven't looked at anything either. So is the Mario Kart one like an actual roller coaster, or is it more like just like a one of those like you drive things?
I think it's like an indoor like what like a I don't even know. It's just like a ride indoors. You put on some like VR AR headset thing. I'm not sure what it is
Oh,
exactly.
like okay, so they almost do like the Toy Story Buzz Lightyear one kind of deal, right? Because they do that
Sure, I
something
have
like
no
that.
idea. I have no idea what that is.
It's kind of like a ride where they just put something on your head and they try to make you feel immersed, but there's like nothing really else going on except for that what's around your head. But I mean, it's still like a cool experience and you're entertained by it. So that'd be a cool use of technology if they could just do it that way, and not give you that feeling of you're gonna die.
Yeah, exactly.
But man, dude, I still think that's awesome that you're going. Maybe that might be a potential trip that I'll take maybe this year or next year because I haven't gone to a theme park myself in I think in like 3 or 4 years, and the last one was Six Flags, and I went there for the October thing.
Fright Fest, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
What about you, Steve? When was the last time you went to an amusement park?
It's been quite some years as well, a long time, probably over a decade. And same thing, it was Six Flags. I used to get season passes, so I definitely outstayed my welcome for Six Flags.
Hmm.
Um, I had gone to Universal Studios, I think the one in California as well, a long time ago. Back when I think the Jurassic Park ride was in year one, so that's how long it's been. Same thing with Disneyland. I've been there, but never been to the Florida ones. And I would also love to go to Legoland because that's only in California. But yeah, so I would like to do that tour myself, especially for Nintendo Land. Like that's got to be now on a bucket list, even though I don't have a bucket list.
Would there be any amusement parks that you would love to see built? Like obviously, since they're doing Mario, they've done Harry Potter, they've done Star Wars. Is there any amusement park that you wish they would build? Like I know, being a like, maybe this is like a horrible response, but I would love to see like a massive Destiny or World of Warcraft theme park.
A Destiny one would be cool. I don't think that would ever happen, but they did like a Halo convention that I went to here in Chicago. It was called Halo Outpost,
Uh
which was kind of cool. They had an
huh.
escape room. Um, I'm trying to think of what else they had. But yeah, it was kind of a cool little convention that they
did
did.
was this like a Bungie run one or was it 343?
It was 343. It was in 2019, I think, like right before the pandemic.
Oh
It
man,
was in like August of 2019.
I wish I knew about that because that sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. I also like escape rooms, but also like a Halo theme one.
They had a yeah, one of the things they had was like a VR, like
Uh,
4v4. It was team deathmatch, but you had VR headsets on and you had like it was basically like a laptop in a backpack that they would have you wear with the VR headset attached. And you just ran around like in the space, like with plasma pistols shooting each other and stuff. And that's something where I'm like, why didn't they ever like release this for people to
Hmm.
play on like Steam or something? Like that'd be a ton of fun. But yeah, it was a good time.
yeah, that is kind of weird because I know I'm not sure if you've ever been to Vegas, but they have like a VR, like a massive VR room, like it's like over like 1,000 feet, long and wide, and they have like very like specific games they have there that you won't find like Oculus, whatever. And I wonder if it's because in order for you to play it, you actually have to like have like the whole haptic suit on, like the vest, the gun, the gloves, and everything, in order to get like that same immersive effect that normal VRs can't give you. I'm not sure if that's how the Halo one was, but I know for the ones that I played in Vegas, they were like that.
Where was that one in Vegas? I'm just curious. Was that the Luxor?
No, well, I meant they might have one the Luxor, but the one I went to was in the MGM Grand.
Okay. Yeah, I go to Vegas a lot because my parents live there, so I'll have to check it out.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. I think I think MGM has two buildings. It's the biggest one with the lion. That's the one I know.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Cool, yeah, I'll have to check that out next time I go.
Yeah, the only problem is that it's kind of expensive. I think it's like $50 to get in, but you're there for like 30 minutes to an hour, and there's like I think like 10v10. You could do like either multiplayer survival, like or like a co-op survival experience, where you're trying to go with 4 people and survive like this. Like I don't know if it's zombies or aliens, but it's like they basically swarm you, and that's why you get to run around in the actual room, and they can tell you where you're at. It's like this actual real immersive experience where you like you're doing it in real life and in the game.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, I'd love to see it. Just a Destiny version of that or a World of Warcraft version. I think it'd be cool. I'm not sure if you guys would love to see like a different theme park being built.
Yeah, I never really put much thought in that. I don't know how a WoW one would translate. I think it probably would work in China, but now that
Oh,
relationship has kind of gone sour.
Yeah, it's
dude,
gone now.
they could definitely do it in America. Imagine like a medieval's time, but like just World of Warcraft theme.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
not
like
saying it
imagine
can.
people dressed up as like, orcs and stuff walking around. That'd be
Yeah,
pretty
I
cool.
mean, I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just thinking like it wouldn't be successful. I don't think personally. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. And you're talking to someone that plays a damn game every fucking day, so just my 2 cents. I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, damn, I don't know. Really don't know.
What about like
It's
a
like all the big
Pokemon
ones are
one?
out there already, so it's like it's really hard to think of a new one.
What about a Pokemon one? That'd be pretty cool.
Now you're on to something.
Don't they have one of
Actually,
those in Japan?
uh, I
I
don't
don't think
know.
so.
I don't think so.
I thought they have one or they're building one. Maybe I'm making up something, but I swear I saw something on Twitter that they have something.
No. But going back to like how you were talking about all the virtual reality stuff, I mean, imagine a theme park that had like VR shit where you could actually simulate like taking a Pokemon out of a Pokeball, and it only works in that theme park.
They call it Safari Zone.
Oh my god, like that would be fucking phenomenal.
That'd be cool. I'd love to see
That would
like
be pretty
you
cool.
walking through like long patches of grass. You see the grass shaking. You touch
Yeah,
it, Pokemon pops out, and then you actually get shocked by Pikachu.
ball zaps you. Stop my pacemaker.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that'd be like obviously not to get hurt, but like imagine like you were playing that and you actually get attacked like by Thunderbolt like Pikachu did to Ash, and you could feel it in your vest like a little vibration. That'd be
I
a
mean
cool experience.
they have that technology. Obviously, like there's gamer those type of gamer vests like for first person shooters, right? That you get hit at a certain point and it'll fucking vibrate. You could set the pressure and shit. So that technology's out there for sure.
I love how we went from like actual like physical theme parks to virtual theme parks.
To people possibly getting hurt.
Yeah.
And now all we
Well,
want is just a theme park at our house, right? That's pretty much what it's coming down to. I want to be able to put on my VR headset and enjoy the theme park.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, what game? I think I don't know if it was Facebook or if it was Valve, but I think they released like kind of like a VR version of Dreams where you could build like your own fantasy world and you can actually have physical objects that you could touch and hold, and they actually have give you like actual accessories that they ship to your house so you can get that actual physical feel to the game. And I'm like, they're really going full force on this virtual reality stuff. You could actually do it at
Yeah,
your
that's
house.
insane.
I think it's like a couple $1,000s in order to buy it all.
Whew, Jesus. I mean, if I'm just gonna really quickly throw one out there, I slightly mentioned earlier with the ride, but I think like a whole Jurassic Park theme park. Of course, I'm not talking about a real one, but I think that would kind of be cool.
Put you in that glass ball, have you roam around.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd
Yeah,
pay
I'm
for
real
that.
excited. I'm real excited for the PSVR 2 next month. I have it
Mm.
pre-ordered. I don't know. I love VR headsets. I think they're a ton of fun. But yeah, they announced like their whole launch lineup the other day, I think yesterday or the day before. But yeah, I'm real excited for like two different games. Gran Turismo 7 in VR
Mm.
because I already have a race wheel. I bought an adapter so I can use because it's an Xbox race wheel. I bought an adapter so I can use it on my PlayStation. Um, and then so I'm excited to play that in VR. I think that's going to be a ton of fun. And I'm also excited for Cities Skyline because I didn't know that that game was in VR at all, but apparently it's coming out on PSVR 2 as well. I think it's already out on PC. I just didn't know it was a thing. Just sounds cool building a whole city in VR, like as like a giant like god, right?
So, are you gonna get City Skyline VR? Because that's like I feel like if you could go in first person mode while you're building and be on top of like a skyscraper, that'll hit
Oh
you
my
with like
god.
extreme vertigo.
Jeez.
See, I don't know. I want to look up a let's play or something of it because I don't know like if you can like shrink yourself down to be like your real size in a city, or if the whole game's just played as if like you're like just like this giant sky monster like kaiju building a city, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
There isn't like a trailer footage that kind of defines that for you?
I haven't watched it at all. I just saw it on the
Oh,
list.
okay. Interesting.
Like all the footage I'm seeing is like you're just like a giant person building a city. So I don't
Yeah.
know if you can shrink down at all or not.
That would be an interesting feature.
speaking of which, since Steve just bought PS5 and he was just talking about Jurassic Park, he should probably buy a VR headset so he could play Horizon. What's it called? Wilds or whatever it's
Call to the
called.
Wild.
Yeah,
Call to the Wild.
yeah. It's basically Jurassic Park with machine dinosaurs. Are you
Yeah,
gonna get that game too, Joel, or no?
Yeah, probably. I didn't play the newest Horizon game all the way through, but I'll probably play that VR game.
is that the one I gave to you, Josh? Or
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
it's okay?
I plan on playing that
No
very soon.
interest?
Huh?
You didn't have any interest?
Me? No. It looks beautiful. Like it looks amazing. But as I kind of buried the lead earlier here, I'm a huge World of Warcraft player. So that consumes a lot of my time. Um,
So what enticed you to buy a PS5 now?
Final Fantasies, game set
Yeah.
match. So I have Crisis Core right now. And I'm still replaying and finishing. The next installment of 7 comes out next year, and then 16 comes out in June. Plus, I have Octopath Traveler 2 that I'm getting next month, which I cannot wait. Like that's a game that I'm going to sideline WoW for. Like, there's very few games that I'll be like, WoW's going on the back burner, and I'm playing this one. So yeah, pretty much Final Fantasy. Those are the games that made me buy PS5.
Cool. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
watching Josh's stream of WoW the other day, and like, it really made me want to try WoW again. I haven't played
Oh,
it in
you.
like years and years.
Mm,
If you play, I mean, WoW is obviously one of those games that it always be fun, especially when you're playing with somebody else. Like Destiny 2, like if you have people to play with, it's a lot of fun. When you're playing solo, that's when it sucks. Only
Yeah.
Steve doesn't have that problem, but that's what struggles for me. But it's fun when you when you haven't played it for a while and you actually go in. There's a lot of content to do. You're learning the game. There's a feeling of, how do you say it? Not struggle, but like an achievement like a personal achievement progress of you actually getting better at the game. Like when I was tanking, going as DPS, going through slow dungeons, and then when I was tanking, and then just steamrolling everything, doing massive pulls. That was fun for me.
Yeah. I think the worst part is when you're like questing, right? Because you're always doing that alone. Because you're never going to be at the same exact part of a quest as somebody else unless you're playing at the same time together every time.
yeah, that is definitely true. It's very challenging to do same quest lines with somebody else, especially when some quests you cannot complete together. Like you have to you have to loot 10 things. Well, you also have to loot 10 things. Like why can't I loot one and we both get credit?
Yeah.
So there are those challenges for sure.
And this is why Destiny is better, because it does that.
Well, all quests don't do that. Some quests do. And that's my that's my why I'm saying it, because like not all quests do it. All quests should do it. So, but yeah, if Destiny does it, it's kind of weird because they're under the same umbrella. So come on now, get it together.
Yeah. But no, I mean, if Joel, if you ever want to play, obviously Steve and I are on. So if you ever want to join or learn the game, we're there to play with you.
I literally opened Battle.net right now to download it and see if there's like a trial or something I can do
I
to
think that
see
there
if I
is.
want to stick.
You can play up to 20, I think, for
Yeah,
free.
there might even be one where you probably could get not to max level, but probably to 60, or maybe they let you even create a character at 60. I don't know. Blizzard's doing a ton of different promos recently to try to, capitalize on the new expansion. So yeah, there probably is something out there.
Yeah, I'm literally downloading it right now. I mainly just want to see how it runs now that I have like a legit computer to play games. Because like when I used to play like freshman year of college with my friends, that computer was hot garbage. I was playing on like all low settings and getting like 15 frames a second. So yeah, I'll check it out.
World of Warcraft is a very strange game because when you look when obviously when you're playing it as an actual player casual and you're like all the way like zoomed out top down, it doesn't look the best. But if you ever go in first person, that game is massive and beautiful, especially if you have maxed out graphics and everything. It's weird how it goes from like a very like pixelated choppy game to like one of the most beautiful games you'll ever see, like from the skybox to the city streets and buildings. It's very weird. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
anybody else has tried that out.
I definitely have. And you're right. Like it obviously has this more cartoony graphical engine, but when you play it in certain regards, you do get to see that beauty, especially now with the new expansion. I think we are talking about that yesterday, Josh, where the zones are so large, but then you said the skybox, and then you see everything at a distance, and you get a greater appreciation of the world itself than the actual game. So, yeah, for sure.
So, Joe, will you stream World of Warcraft, at least your trial session?
I don't know if I'll stream it. I'm hesitant to stream games from my computer if that's weird on my computer, just because like I feel like it bogs down my computer a lot.
It definitely does, depending on your settings. Because like I have a very limited computer. Like I have like a 1080 Ryzen 7. It's not the best. It's very medium, and I definitely have to do a lot of settings tweaking just so I could stream at the average quality it is. So it definitely bogs it down. But with your supercomputer, you could probably have good stream quality and game quality at the same time.
Yeah,
But
maybe I will. I'll have to message you later and find out what server you guys are on, because like
Urson,
I have characters on. What?
We're on Urson.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because like I have characters on servers, but I don't. I have one friend playing WoW right now, and it's somebody who I've never played WoW with before. It's just like a old coworker. So yeah, like I have no affiliation with any server or anything.
Gotcha. Cool.
But
yeah, maybe we'll connect.
Yeah. But I know you do have a time crunch, and unfortunately, I just got the message too. So, it sucks that we had that little tech issue because I want to go through more like Halo, Destiny, Overwatch. But obviously, this is just the intro. We'll probably have more of these in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
But Joel, thank you so much for joining us today. Obviously, people listening, you can find Joel and John at Pixel Street. Joel also does, from time to time, streaming on Twitch, which I will always try to push him to do more because I think he did what's the thing? Psychonauts?
Psychonauts?
Yeah. The first one on Xbox,
Yeah.
so that was cool to see that. But is there anything else you want to add to that, Joel?
No, just check out Pixel Street videos on YouTube.
Cool.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Joel, thank you so much for being here. Sorry that it was short.
Yeah.
Hopefully we could do this again soon because I'd love to have you and John back on here because I really do love your content and I would love to collaborate more in the future. Same thing with World of Warcraft. Hopefully this turns out. I'd love to play more. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and we'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Thank you all. Peace.
Bye.